Clear for takeoff.
I know it's for children, but I am in an air traffic control tower mock-up here in downtown Appleton. I'm loving this. Coming up in this video, you're joining me on a Boeing 717 from Atlanta, Georgia to Appleton, Wisconsin, and I purposely sat on the back of the plane for the experience. Let's go. Those are 717s back there, and I've got a ticket on one, and you're gonna come with me now. Well, if you're a regular viewer of my channel, you know that I've flown on the 717 before, but I sat in a seat with no window, so it was a very disappointing flight. This time, I'm gonna have a view. I can't wait. The largest operator of the 717, Delta, has 88 of them in its fleet. The only other airlines operating the type are Hawaiian and Qantas. It was introduced to airline service in 1999 with AirTran Airways, and today many 717 tail numbers end in AT, indicating that they once flew with AirTran. AirTran went out of business in 2014. Similar in look to a DC-9, the 717 has rear-mounted engines and a range of 2,300 miles. Delta's 717s accommodate 12 passengers in first class, 20 in Comfort Plus, and 78 in the main cabin. Today, my seat is in the main cabin and my 717 is at the gate, so let's head out of this Delta Sky Club, which I just visited for the view of the 717s on the ramp, and head over to gate C40. Here she is. I can't wait to sit in the space behind the wing, but ahead of the engine. Today our flight number will be 2945 with the destination of Appleton, Wisconsin. Let's head on over to ATW. We're ready to board. This jet bridge is short, and so is the 717, which has a length of 124 feet with a wingspan of just 93 feet. Gate C40 accommodates this plane well. I'm purposely avoiding first class and Comfort Plus, even though I could score a seat there for free today. All right, I'm taking my seat towards the rear of this aircraft because I want to be able to see those engines and wings. Old, but still, it feels brand new. I'm enjoying it. Oh, this is going to be awesome. The engine is right over here. So much better than my previous flight on the 717. The last time I flew on a 717, the engine blocked the view, so I'm happy to be sitting in front of it so I can see out. Do you enjoy flying on the 717, or have you flown on a 717? Let me know in the comment section below. The cabin is set up in a 2x3 configuration, and there are no TV monitors, a rarity for Delta mainline aircraft. I'll miss the map showing where my aircraft is, but I could do without those movies. These trading cards are quite popular these days. It was nice to get one for the rare 717. Have you collected any of these cards recently on Delta? I can't wait to feel, see, and hear the sensations on takeoff today. This will be a complete sensory experience that's not only rear, but really can't be experienced from the front of the plane. So I'm really happy that I turned down a complimentary first class seat to be here. After all, with the rear-mounted engines, it will be way too quiet up front. I want action, I want thrill, and I want noise, and this is where I'm gonna get it, complete with a view. 2 Rolls-Royce engines will power us skyward. These engines are the BR-175 model, and they're twin-shaft turbofans. They're manufactured in Germany. This particular aircraft, which once flew for AirTran, is around 18 years old.
If you are seated in the exit seat, please review the exit seating criteria and responsibilities on the safety information card located in your seat back pocket.
The cargo is being loaded, and we're nearing D0, our exact departure time, and today we'll be right on time. With no TV monitors, the flight attendants have to make all the safety announcements and physically demonstrate the use of oxygen and masks. This occurred as we pushed back onto the ramp under the guidance of the ramp controller.
Seat cushions can also be used for rotation. Instructions for operation are outlined on the safety information card in your seat pocket. Refer to the safety information card for instructions on how to use life vests for children who weigh less than 35 pounds. If necessary, we'll distribute life vests for in-lab children. Before we take off, be sure your seat backs are upright, tray tables on carry-out items are stowed.
And now, it's time for engine start. I am so happy I sat back here. In a style completely uncharacteristic of this channel, since I'm sitting right next to the right engine, I'm going to take a break from speaking for a few moments as we taxi out and take off on runway 26 left under the guidance of the Atlanta Control Tower controllers. I've got the best seat on the plane.
eyes see and the ears hear. The mind believes!
Our Boeing 717 is climbing to the west and eventually to the north toward Appleton, Wisconsin. And what we just saw and heard was a great true reality of this magnificent airplane. We're leaving behind Atlanta, Georgia for Appleton. Appleton was home to Harry Houdini, who made a big deal out of what you can see and hear, but much of his acts were illusion. This is reality, and the grand sounds, sights, and feelings of the 717 were real and evident on this takeoff. As part of the standard departure procedure out of Atlanta, we're turning toward the north on the west side of the city of Atlanta as we continue our climb to our cruising altitude. Sitting on the right side of the plane affords a very good view of the Fulton County Airport, a general aviation airport also known as Charlie Brown Field. And while it lasts, I love taking in the skyline of Atlanta, Georgia. There's always something special about seeing tall city centers rise up from the flat areas around them. How often do you get to see the wing and engine from this vantage point? It's a truly perfect seat. To think that I could be in first class right now is just not something I'm thinking about. Down there is Dobbins Air Reserve Base in Marietta, Georgia. It's a U.S. Air Force Reserve base named after a World War II pilot. We're approaching the en route phase of flight as we climb higher. As we get there, there's a special rainbow effect out the window here. We're just east of Chattanooga, Tennessee as we proceed north here. And above us, headed in the same direction, I spotted a Southwest Boeing 737 en route from Tampa, Florida to one of its base airports, Chicago's Midway Airport. We passed through an area of clouds before flying around the Louisville suburbs. And here we are flying right over Indianapolis. Immediately after that, it was over Lake Michigan, where we began to set up for our approach to Appleton. Before we descend, let's listen into some of the engine sounds from up here. We're just north of Milwaukee in our destination state and are starting on down to Appleton via the standard terminal arrival route. We're descending and reducing speed along the western part of Lake Michigan, and back here I get to see some wing action that only a few seats on this airplane afford. Today we'll be landing on runway 21, which has a southwest heading. We're heading to the north since we're coming in from the south, so we'll clearly need to turn around to line up with the runway and land. Today, runway 21 is utilizing a left traffic pattern, so we'll turn to the left just before joining the final approach course. Appleton sits against another lake, Lake Winnebago, a shallow freshwater lake in Wisconsin, and we're making our descent over this lake now. We need to be vectored for the downwind leg, so we're being asked to head to the northeast before we pass the airport off of our left side, then fly past it, turn around, and land on runway 21 after being cleared to land. This is the northern shore of Lake Winnebago, and the remainder of our flight will be over the land as we make our final approach. I'll admit that there would be more to see from the left side of the plane, including the city and the airport itself, but I always like to make a full and comprehensive visit to what's down there on all sides of the plane, so the next day I made sure I visited the shoreline of Lake Winnebago to see what the shoreline looks like on the left side. Let's look at that area now. Behind me is Lake Winnebago, and that's the shoreline that we saw when we flew on the downwind leg approaching Appleton. This is the side of Lake Winnebago that I did not see from the airplane, so of course I want to check it out. It is beautiful here. This was actually my first time in Wisconsin, and I was blown away by the beauty of this lake. I had no idea. It's a great place to visit. I thought it was very tranquil, but I still had to keep looking at planes in the sky, like this Allegiant flight on its downwind leg to ATW. That is exactly where I was yesterday. Okay, back to this flight as we proceed inland. We're looking at the Highland Beach area and the north shore of the lake. This is primarily a residential area, and the further east you look, the lower the population density is, as that direction is further away from the city. The urban action is off to the left of the airplane, but we're about to pass over the Fox River. From the air, this area sparked my curiosity, so the next day, I decided to go check it out. Okay, I've made it to the exact area that was visible from the right side of the aircraft last night, Island Park. As you can see behind me, there is a lock system here. We've got water at one level here and water at a different level over here. That's not really easy to see from an airplane, so I'm glad that I came here. Let's check it out. Who knew that there was a lock system in the area I just overflew? This area was known by European settlers as Le Petit Chute. The first settlers were French and Dutch. We'll talk about the Dutch heritage in a moment, but first let's take in some more of Little Chute Lock. A lock system was needed here because of a 36-foot drop. This made the river navigable. Of course, the most famous lock system in the world is in Panama, but there are quite a few North American locks, like this one on a much smaller scale. There's so much history here, but I can't keep my head out of the sky. That's the exact spot that my Boeing 717 was in last night. This SkyWest Embraer 175 from O'Hare is doing what I just did, and we can see the right side of the plane, the side that I sat on and got the view of where I am right now. If it wasn't for my flight to Appleton, I would have not known about this place. That's exactly where I was yesterday. Well, thank you, Boeing 717, for pointing this out to me. I appreciate it. I'm having a good time here. This is so unique, and it's something that I encourage all flyers to do. Take a look out your window and see what's down below, and then try to visit it in person. It's amazing to see something from a different point of view. I had no idea this was here. This area isn't only about a river and a lock. Remember the Dutch settlers I just mentioned? It's quite windy here, so why not go check out a window? The Dutch arrived in the 19th century and kept their tradition alive here in Wisconsin. This is an authentic Dutch windmill from the 1850s. This is a full-scale windmill and a popular tourist attraction here. You'd think you're in the Netherlands instead of the USA, but for now it's time for us to get back to the 717 and continue on with the downwind leg. That's the area down below that we just visited. I can't encourage you more than to visit places that you just flew over. It really makes the experience on the ground more diverse. As for our 717 flight, our airport destination is now to the left and behind us, so approach control is preparing to give us a series of left-hand turns so we can intercept the final approach course to wind up on a 209-degree heading, which is runway heading. I would have preferred to have sit on the left-hand side of the plane for the approach because of the left turn, and for the fact that on the left side of the plane there are only 2 seats together as opposed to 3 seats on the right side, but only the right side had window seats available at the time of my booking. But I'm happy that the view on the right side encouraged me to check out those areas that I showed you on the ground. I'll take you to downtown Appleton just after we touch down. Approach control will soon hand us off to the control tower so we can receive clearance to land on the 8,003-foot-long runway 21. Because this is a 717, I'm next to the engine, and these Rolls-Royce engines produce some great sounds, so I'll let you listen into the engine sounds for the remainder of this flight. Runway 21, here we come.
here to welcome you to Appleton with a local time at 8:47 p.m. Please stay seated with your seatbelt fastened and your carry-on items stowed until the aircraft is parked at the gate and the captain turned off the seatbelt sign. Be careful when opening overhead bins to avoid injuries of items that may have shipping during flight. You may receive an email from Delta asking you to share your experience with us. We value your feedback and use your responses to continually improve your travel experience. We invite you to download and use the Fly Delta app for all your future travel needs, including checking in for a flight and managing your SkyMiles account. As you deplane, please remember to look around your seat and make sure you have everything you brought on board. Our current date of arrival is gate number 5. And for those of you that have checked the bag with us today, a uniformed gate agent will be reading the flight and will be able to direct you to the correct baggage claim. On behalf of Delta and this Atlanta-based crew, we've enjoyed having you on board. We look forward to serving you in the future.
Well, I hope that the sights and sounds made you feel like you were right with me on this Boeing 717. Delta won't keep these planes in their fleet forever, so I made sure I took advantage of this aircraft type now before it disappears. We're taxiing to the terminal on taxiway Bravo, and we'll need to cross the crosswind runway 1230, before turning into the airline terminal ramp. Formerly known as the Outagamie County Regional Airport, this airport opened up in 1965. Today, it's an operating base for Allegiant Airlines. A total of 4 carriers operate here, with the major airlines offering flights to some of their hubs, mostly via their connection carriers. For people visiting AirVenture in Oshkosh, this is the closest commercial airport to fly into. If I had only flown to Appleton during that time of the year. Welcome to Appleton. Well, I gotta say, I really enjoyed that flight on the Boeing 717. It's really fun if you love aviation. Okay, we're on the ground here in Appleton. The next day I checked out the town. Come and join me. Welcome to downtown Appleton, Wisconsin. So this is the part of town that I missed by sitting on the right-hand side of that 717. Appleton is the county seat of Outagamie County and has a population of around 75,000. The downtown area is charming and definitely has a Midwestern feel with lots of specialty shops. Cafes and family-friendly activities are abundant here. It's quite different than the busy Atlanta that my 717 left from. Did you know that Harry Houdini lived here in Appleton, Wisconsin? Harry Houdini was born in Hungary but lived here in Appleton. The specific area that he lived in was renamed Houdini Plaza and is a great tribute to this illusionist and escapologist. I especially love the mock-up aviation atmosphere here in downtown. I'm enjoying Appleton, Wisconsin. I know it's for children, but I am in an air traffic control tower mock-up here in downtown Appleton. I'm loving this. Well, I'm going to end this video here from Appleton, Wisconsin. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, I invite you to click on the subscribe button, hit the bell button, hit the like button, and remember, I'll be back again with many more videos like this. Thanks everybody, and see you soon.